Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, so let's get into this. It's going to be a singles storyline. So, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Let's go ahead and jump on in. We'll see where we go with this one. Now, we assume our characters are single in this, whomever they may be, and we have a Five of Swords. We got somebody getting ejected because there's just too much argumentative energy, there's too many problems, there's just too much in general of like hurtful, painful energy or unpleasant energy, however we want to look at this. It just seems like we've got a character who's over it. That Five of Swords is fighting, it can be wanting to win. We have an Eight of Pentacles and we have the Four of Swords. Honestly, this could be a bit of a shocker to whomever is being like kicked out of the fold. It feels I'm sorry to say this, but everybody's like, yay, it's about time. And they seem to be the last to know, very defensive even. So I'm wondering if this begins with like somebody who says to friends or close confidants, like, you know what, we had a big old fight, me and my significant other, and honestly, I think we're done. I don't want to patch it up. And it feels like friends have been supporting somebody in like, yes, good, let go, move on. And they're like, hallelujah. But it feels like it's going to come as a shock to whomever is like being broken up with here. Like, what? Moi? You're breaking up with moi? And I'm wondering if, Nine of Cups. It almost feels like it's celebratory because this was so much conflict. But the person who is like getting ejected still seems to be shocked by this, and particularly shocked that other people are celebrating the fact that there's a breakup going on. Hi, Wendy. To have the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, yeah, I feel as if even though there was great conflict and great trouble, I don't know if this person is just woefully unaware. And we'll call this an air sign person, just because we do have, Five of Swords, Four of Swords, so Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, possibly. But they do seem to be woefully unaware that there's a reason that somebody doesn't want to deal with them anymore. But it keeps feeling like it was a whole group that was like, oh my God, this person is so difficult. Why are you dating them? Something along those lines. They don't seem to know that there's anything bad about their behavior. And I don't know if this person was like, this looks like somebody who was devious. This is somebody cheating in a game, but they don't seem to recognize that their behavior is why somebody doesn't want to be around them. And a whole group is celebrating this, severing of this connection. Why do you seem to be so unaware, character? Hi, RT. So nice to see you guys. Hamida, hi, babe. Okay, Five of Pentacles. I do kind of think that this character has a habit of feeling either entitled or feeling like everybody else owes them something. They certainly don't seem to be very aware that, it's like they're having something taken away from them. What do you mean you don't want to deal with me anymore? All of these cards, every time we see them, it seems like there's two cards of theft, right? Here, and then again here. And then the other two cards are, kind of like difficult energy, and they seem to, I was like, they throw darts, they say rude things to people, but they don't seem to know that they act this way. So I wonder if this person, if no one's ever told them like this is unacceptable. Let me go back over to the entire group who seems to be celebrating the fact that there's this breakup. This doesn't feel mean-spirited. It feels like somebody's like, oh, thank God, you're not dealing with that joker anymore. Literally. Okay, so the thing is, whomever is breaking up with that, we'll say air sign person, they could say, I feel so stupid because why is it that I'm actually still sad about breaking up when it was so difficult while we were together? But I'm looking into my future and I'm just like, oh my God, it's somehow My friends are happy for me. Everybody thinks I made the right decision, but I'm still sad that I'm breaking up with somebody who admittedly has like some really bad behaviors. I feel like a fool or a clown that I'm actually still sad about the breakup. Honestly, I think that's so relatable. Like I think everybody's been there where it's like, we suck together. They've got a bad attitude half the time toward me. It's not like we're good, but then we break up and it still feels like something is missing in my life. Um, what might be missing could be like the illusion of what they were still holding out for something to turn into. That could be the thing that's sad. We have the sun sideways. Yeah, I would just say with the sun being sideways, our character knows that happiness should feel different than this did. And part of them is glad that they're moving on, and part of them is aware that there's a very good reason, that they know why they broke it off with somebody, but it's like, but I'm still not happy about it today, if that makes sense. So no matter what, change is hard. It's always difficult. It doesn't matter if it's the right change to make. It can still be upsetting. It can still be tough. It's like, I know I'll be happy. I know this is a better choice, but I can't help but still feel I'm kind of upset, even though friends are so thrilled that it's change. Friends are thrilled that I kicked somebody to the curb, that I'm not going to deal with somebody who made my life miserable. But I'm still adjusting to what this feels like. Okay, so this could be somebody who's actually getting a full blown divorce. This could be somebody who, spent a long time with the wrong partner, somebody that didn't treat them nicely, somebody that had their own set of personality traits that were problematic. All I can say is that thankfully, this character, and by the way, they could be Leo, they could also be a Scorpio, they have a lot of support around them, cheering them on, like, thank God, please let that person go and move on. And it's like, I know I'm going to be happier. My friends are certainly happy for me. And I realize I will be happy also. But this is such a huge, abrupt change. This could be somebody who was married to somebody that wasn't nice to them for many, many years. And finally, they are divorcing. And it's like, this is very strange. We have a Two of Cups sideways. There's also this big mixture of, but I loved them so much. And in their way, they loved me too. Okay, so we have a character saying, either I've felt so many emotions for this person for so long, and as mixed up and problematic and even painful as this has been, it's time I let him go. But there is still an unconditional love, and there is still this big, you know, kind of like a bit of a gaping hole that this whole experience is leaving for me. Now, this makes me want to ask one other question, though. Is this Was this whole kind of messy situation, was this ever that they were really like married to this person or dated this person or living with this person? Or was this whole story one of those where it's always been this 5D connection, like, oh my God, I've loved this person for so long, but we never really had a successful union ever? And maybe that's why friends are like, oh, thank God you're letting them go. We don't have to hear you talk about that person anymore. You're finally going to get back to like dating again and being around people that are here instead of feeling this 5D connection that we've all heard a lot about. I'm not saying friends are like, oh God, we're so sick of hearing about it. But I could see how supportive friends would both want someone to be happy, and therefore it would be difficult to see somebody pining over a person who did nothing but make them unhappy while still claiming, yes, but they're my soulmate, they're my Two of Cups. I would be the kind of friend who'd be like, it's okay to love somebody, but if the whole situation seems to be always bringing you grief, trauma, and that becomes a major focal point of your life, I too would be the kind of friend who would be like, it would be so great for you to look ahead to your future and ask yourself, what would really make you happy? Continuing on with this 5D realm connection that only brings you distress, or think about a future where maybe you could try something different. Like, I would be that friend who would like be celebrating if somebody said, you know what, I'm actually going to move on. This hasn't been making me happy. I want my future to look different than what my past and present have been. I would totally celebrate and be like, awesome, I'm really happy for you. So I could see that, friends celebrating. um, but I can also understand why this would be hard for this person. Like, no judgment to them. It's, character's going to do what makes them happy. But we can see this is a character who's saying, I'm making peace with things. There's a part of me that I left behind. Even if I'm going to change everything, even if I'm going to stop, holding space for this person who's made my life admittedly very difficult. But there is a part of me that probably won't ever fully move on because I'm always still going to love them. Look, I think two things can be true at the same time. I think we can stay like knowing that that was a very special connection and that we have a special kind of love for that person, even if it also wasn't one that could be successful. And it doesn't change the fact that it's like, as crazy and mixed up as it is, I can still love somebody while breaking free of it. And yet a part of me stays back there. Sure, because that was that was something altogether different. That was truly unconditional love. I love them and it also was miserable. I love them and I also can't be with them. I love them and I always will, but I also move on with my life and I'll love somebody else equally as much in a completely different way. I think this is both bittersweet and extremely freeing and extremely like relatable because love is such a hard thing to describe. It isn't perfect and isn't like the movies. And it's even stranger that we can always love someone for what could have been, but not necessarily what was. This is a very subtle and difficult thing to try to explain, but I also think that's why it's relatable. We've got that 7 of Coins in the reverse. Yeah, this is the day that we have a character breaking away from the idea that although they are my 2 of Cups and although I will always have unconditional love, I won't be with them. And I'm okay with that today. So, kind of an amazing message. We do have strong Aries coming in. We had strong Cancerian, like I said, some Scorpio, some Leo. Whomever this lead character is who is accepting moving forward and going to go on with their life, I think this is amazing. We have a lot of major arcana here. I think this is a major, major life experience. And with the High Priestess, they knew this day would come. Maybe they knew right from the gate. I met somebody who's my 2 of Cups, and they also have a lot of hurdles to get through in this life. I also know I love them, and there will always be a part of me that stays in love with them. But I also know that's in the 5D realm. So I don't just live in the 5D. 5D is the intangible, the energetic world. But the 3D is where we got to eat food and drink water and have a really, wonderful, genuinely happy life. And I kind of think this is what our character is realizing. They are uniquely equipped to be able to have a 5D experience and a 3D experience. Honestly, I would just say that this is a character that operates like at every frequency. They are fully awakened. They know the difference between loving someone for all that they are and also knowing that there's limits as to what we can like have in our day-to-day life. I think this is like maybe somebody becoming like truly enlightened. Maybe it's a gift and a curse to be able to walk in both worlds, the energy realm and then the 3D realm. We had another story that reminds me of this a little bit. Because I feel like we've been playing with this message in more than one video of somebody that's both able to walk in the energy realm and then also in the 3D realm. And that's complicated or more complicated perhaps, but also really good to be able to do both, And then we got that Temperance card that is sideways. I think we have a character really coming to a place of peace. Okay, so at this point, we have a character letting go of their 2 of Cups as far as saying, I will always love them someplace in the ether, but I'm at peace with moving on right now in my real world. So where do you go now in your real world? You're very single, truly now. We have a Knight of Pentacles. We have a 5 of Swords. We have the Queen of Cups. Slowly, I'm going to say she moves slowly because I think she's aware that, if you're not careful, you can fall right into another connection like that. She's always going to have one major issue, which is, because maybe this is an empath, or this is somebody who works in the energy world or exists in both the energy world and the 3D world, she's going to have to be careful with who she gets like drawn to and falls in love with, that she can find compatibility in the 3D world, because she's got the capacity to love other people, to love anybody for the best version of themselves that exists in the energy world, but not necessarily what they're going to do in the 3D world. She's going to have to always be a little careful. Almost like, when we can see somebody and we know that they have goodness in them, because everybody does. That doesn't mean that they'll make good, healthy choices, or even that they'll make very many good choices, even if they know the difference from right to wrong. And even if you can see, but they have a good spirit, but then they can still make really big mistakes. Her, like I said, gift and curse is that she has the ability to see like that soul in them, but then they may still make some really bad decisions, in the frailty of, human life. And she's going to have to be careful that she doesn't fall in love with what someone could be instead of what they're choosing to be. It is like she's a little more prone to illusions, as far as, and it's not really an illusion, it's that she can see the good in somebody and she can love them for that, but she has to still be able to say, everyone has a capacity to be a hero and has the capacity to do good. Terrible people do wonderful things sometimes, wonderful, generous, heroic deeds. And that might be the only one really heroic, generous thing they do, but everyone can make a decision that is absolutely fantastic. And then likewise, really good people can make one really selfish, bad decision sometimes. We're not perfect, but she's probably going to have to be really aware and alert to the fact that she, above most people, can see someone's like soul and see the niceness in them, but that might not be who they choose to be. So that illusion that, I know they're great, I know they're going to be good, but they might not choose to be. So she's going to have to take more time and get to know people and see, especially in moments of conflict, how does somebody choose to behave? Because she could make the same mistake again. This is not to shame her or anything and be like, oh, well, she made a mistake, why'd she give it the wrong person? It's not that. It's just to say that she might have to be really careful, because she is really good at sensing people's energy and sensing the good in them, even if that's not who they're going to pick. They want to, operate as. And that could get confusing for her, because she'll keep saying, no, I believe that they'll do better. I believe that, they did this, but they didn't mean to. She'll give more passes maybe than what she necessarily should. Maya Angelou says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And this would be in direct conflict with her saying, yes, but I unfortunately can see their soul too. And I can see their soul has goodness in it. And it's like, yes, but what are they showing you with their 3D actions? Because that's who they want to be. We all could be better than what we are. And so it's going to be a tough one for her, because she's gifted and cursed with being an empath. Jazz 111. Hi, sweetheart. Thanks for being here. Oh, sorry. Jazz 1111. My apologies. Welcome, honey. As a member now, just know that you can pop into the members corner. Every Monday, I add another members video to the members corner. And every Monday, I always kind of explain how we do things in the members corner. So just make sure you get a chance to watch one of those before sometime tomorrow when I go in the members corner again. So you get a chance to enter to win in the members corner. Okay, so everything here says move slow. You're really gifted, and you're really loving, and you're really compassionate, and you're really accepting of others and their flaws. But you got to go slow and ask yourself, what do they show me? Not what do I know that they could show me, but what actions and behaviors does somebody show me? Because she's going to move on and she's going to meet somebody else. And she could meet somebody very similar to the situation she already had. 8 of Pentacles is upright. Everything says work on building very tangible trust with somebody. This next person, who could be a Pisces, with that Hanged Man that we saw, We have the sun. Okay, this is such a great message because it says, look, please remember these are fictional stories about fictional characters. So I'm not trying to say this is how it's supposed to be and I know all. I have no wisdom to impart, nor am I trying to. But for the sake of this storyline, I'm going to sound very definite when I say this. Love should not be something that makes us freaking miserable. If we're trying to stay with a partner who is lying, cheating, knows that that's what they're doing, miserable, cutting with their words, always acts shocked and surprised, like, what? What do you mean I did something rude? That shouldn't be the lover that we have to put up with. I don't think that that's what she knew in the past, right? All of those things are disqualifiers for why would I want to choose a lover? A lover should be speaking nice to me. They shouldn't be stealing from me. They shouldn't be making everything all about them. It should be a cooperation. They should care. They should have kind words to say instead of these constant cutting words and, harsh things to say. It shouldn't be like, you are my adversary and you want to win and grind me into the dust. At least I don't think love should feel like that. So I'll make that statement. And then this card says exactly that. She can accept that, oh, but they have a good heart, even though they do all these bad things. And in this storyline, the big message is, sweetheart, you can't say that although somebody has a good heart, if they're not being nice to you, then don't let them in, because this is what love should feel like. It should feel like companionship and somebody that you sing with in harmony and somebody that you laugh a lot with. It doesn't mean everything is roses all the time, but the net result is they should make you happy and care about your happiness, and you should make them happy and care about their happiness. That's the only reason two people would be together, is because you make me happier than when I'm not with you. It doesn't mean every day is perfect, but why would we pick somebody that's making us freaking miserable and say, oh, but they have a good heart, so I'll stay? And I think that's what the big message is here. Again, I'm not trying to preachy and say this is how it should be, but for the sake of this story, I have to be able to tell the storyline. So I'm going to go ahead and say all those things. Although as a real person, I actually do think that. So I would say, in my personal opinion, I do think most of that, resonates as something I would agree with. I do think love should make us better. I do think partnership should, be enjoyable, not a freaking nightmare. But we keep saying, oh, but they have such a good heart. I mean, I never see it. They don't treat me nice, but they have, you know what? I know that their soul is good. I mean, oh, but no, they steal from me. They treat me like crap. But I know that they can, I can see that they have good traits in them too. And I'm just like, I don't think that's enough to stay for, but that's just me. So this storyline I definitely can get behind, because I think that message is giving her something like more quantifiable to ask herself, let me slow things down with the next person I meet. Let me consider, how do they argue? How do they fight? Do they try to cut me into ribbons? Or are they saying, hey, babe, you and I, let's protect our relationship. There's external problems here that are rocking the boat for us, but I want to fix it with you. I mean, the more she sees more of that and builds some trust with that person and sees how they really behave, then slowly but surely she might be able to answer that question. Do they add more happiness and value into my life? If the answer is yes, then it's like, aha, then that's the person I'll choose to be with. And I feel like the reason this is so important is because she's about to meet somebody, and nothing will be perfect in any relationship. But yeah, if she can get to the truth of what would make a relationship nice, and by contrast, who should I not be trying to be in a relationship with, that might be maybe the way she'll approach some of this. We have a 7 of Swords. We've got the 3 of Wands, and we've got the 9 of Wands sideways. So I would say, I almost wonder oh gosh, it's such a tough storyline for me to say, because I'm going to sound like critical or something of her, and I don't mean to at all, quite the reverse. But I'm wondering if she's realized she was a little bit indoctrinated at one point into thinking that she always had to be the person to turn the other cheek, instead of like being able to say, hey, this is crappy. I don't want to put up with being treated like this. Because this is her sitting here going, oh my God, I've been lying to myself for a long time, thinking that, I had to, because I'm an empath, this is just how it is. And instead of saying, wait a second, I'm an empath and that's a gift and a curse, but I also have this awesome brain and the power of discernment. And if I was indoctrinated to think that I'm always supposed to just see the best and the good in people without ever saying, oh, but they got shitty qualities too, and I'm going to, give some tough love here and lay down some boundaries. I almost think that she always wanted to be able to lay down boundaries, but kind of felt like she couldn't or something. And this is her saying, oh, hell no, I am doing things different now. I realized I was wounded. I was a wounded empath. That's why I was maybe not having giving myself permission to put up boundaries when I wanted to. Maybe I was indoctrinated to the idea that I wasn't allowed to, and I had to break through that. Or maybe I was wounded and thought I had to keep saying, oh, but I can see the good in people, and, turn the other cheek when they do something wrong, and just, keep seeing the good in them, instead of saying, you know what, some of that's bullshit. Sometimes that's how we let people walk all over us. We don't stand up for ourselves. We don't put any boundaries. We don't protect ourselves. We don't tell people to go to hell when they deserve to be told. You can't act like this. There are boundaries that you don't just let people do whatever the hell they want when it's clearly, these cards were awful. These to me are boundary cards. But again, I get very protective of my characters. And so I'm super cheering for this character right now because I feel as if this is a very powerful and very sweet character who maybe their biggest issue was seeing that they personally have always wanted to be allowed to put up boundaries, but didn't allow themselves until now because of some of their own wounds. It made them feel like that was them being too judgy or them being too, like harsh or something. And I think that this is really good. This character could be a masculine or a feminine. I really had trouble deciding, who somebody was. We saw this lead character as being an empath. Men are empaths too. This could have been a masculine just as easily as a feminine. They came up throughout this as masculine and feminine. But I do think that we have a character that, I'm not even saying this was a people pleaser. I'm saying this is somebody who was trying so hard to be so loving and has a capacity to love so deeply that they were really like operating off of this very loving frequency, but not putting enough like rules and expectations and realistic expectations on, I can love you, but I'm damn sure not going to get mistreated by you. I like seeing a character that is developing boundaries while still being loving, if that makes sense. Because I think self-love is every bit as important as loving others. I don't know. To me, this looks great. And it looks like, I think our character is going to end up so much happier. I think everything here is about their future. And everything here is about preparing for a future because they have one. This character has a really happy relationship on the horizon, possibly with a Leo, somebody that is going to be equally as strong and kind and expecting our character to have boundaries and maybe even encouraging our character to have boundaries. I love this for our character. That's nice to see. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you so much, everybody. Nice to see you tonight. All right. Sorry, I had a sneezing attack before this, and I'm still all snuffleupagus right now. I feel like we should get maybe a couple more zodiacs done tonight. I was wanting to get all zodiacs done. I think I only got 6 so far. So do you guys have a preference? If I were to do 2 more zodiacs, what would you guys like tonight? Wendy, thank you, love. So good to see you. Wendy, you're adorable. You tied with Violet. Everybody who's first ties with Violet. Wendy, you're such a love. And again, so good to see you, RT and Hamida. Truly natural. Awesome to catch you. Thank you for being here. Broken Beef for Bliss. Hi, babe. Toby Hines, thank you for popping in. Hi, Nick. No love. Awesome to see you. Hi, Colleen. I hear you. Yeah. PW. Oh my God. PW, I love the way you said that. I so appreciate the way you just said that. You're awesome. Cosmo Guy. Hey, sweetheart. And again, welcome, Jazz. Bradley Bear. SLH. Anisha Chatu. Nani. Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweet. Vagina Wild. Awesome to catch you. Hi, G. NH. Thank you, love. RT votes for Pisces. Truly natural. I did get one out for Libra already today. I did get one out for Taurus also already today. I wondered about that. I had a feeling probably you guys don't know that I put out videos today. YouTube's not been real terrific lately to show my content, so that's been a bit of a difficulty. So yeah, I already did 6 today. I already did Leo also, Nani. And I know you guys so well, and I know that you guys are, like you watch the channel a lot. So it's been a real struggle lately for any of my content to be viewed, I noticed. So I'll maybe have to start making posts and hope that that helps a little bit. But yeah, so we did Virgo, we did Libra, we did Leo, we did Taurus, we did Capricorn, and Aquarius already today. And I don't know if many of you even know that. So I'm glad I brought it up here. Okay. I see a vote for Ophiuchus or Sag. Okay. Oh, sunshine, sweetheart. I'm so sorry that you're going through a tough moment, but we are definitely all here for you and with you. It's a really nice community here. You're such a sweetheart, and I hope that things level out really smoothly for you, babe. Nani, it's my pleasure, honey. Hey, Rock Yellow. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so it looks like I've got just kind of a random, like, smattering of votes over here. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and we'll do, let's get to Pisces and we'll get to Sag tonight. How about that? And then tomorrow we'll do Gemini and Ophiuchus and Scorpio, because I think they'll be easier for people to find by then too. Sweet, you're adorable. Boundary boots. Oh my God, that's awesome. All right, you guys, I'll see you again in a few. Take care. Bye for right now. We'll do Pisces next and then Sag tonight. Okay. Bye for now, guys.